Indeed, a very good morning to you wherever you're watching us from in Kenya, East Africa or around the world on this edition of Citizen Extra. Now this hour we are only 56 days and 14 hours away from the August 8th general election and counting. Now my name is Wahiga Mwaura. Welcome once again to Citizen Extra, and let's take a look at what you can expect in the course of this 4-hour broadcast. Now in the news today, stakeholders are gathering at the KICC in Nairobi for a 3-day national elections conference. We will be live from the venue to bring you the latest on this as it unfolds. Also, in the news diary, it is the second week of the Kenya National Union of Nurses strike. We will keep you posted on the attempts to revive the talks following last week's collapse of the same. And still on the crisis mode, the search for Unga is on, and the government and millers are working round the clock to find a solution. We will bring you up to speed on the latest in regards to this as well. And in the education sector, it is a new dawn as the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development begins piloting of the new education curriculum in 470 schools countrywide. We will be monitoring this as well. And of course, with 56 days and counting to the general election in politics, the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights is this morning expected to release a report on the ongoing campaigns. The report will focus on the misuse of public resources as acts of violence and abuse also continue. We'll have a focus on that. And on the campaign trail, the Jubilee Party Brigade continues with its onslaught in the North Rift. Led by President Uhuru Kenyatta, the team is expected, among other places today, to visit Cheptiret, Mosoriot, Kabiet, Kabisaga and Nandi Hills. And finally, we keep an eye on Ukambani Politics. Which way for Wiper, as two of its key planks now say they will support President Uhuru Kenyatta's re-election. We'll explore more on this together with my team of analysts in studio. But let's take a look at where we're live from. We're live in different locations this morning, and of course stakeholders are gathering at the KICC for a 3-day national elections conference. We'll be live at that location with Stephen Leto. He'll be bringing us up to date with that. In addition, we are live from Kisumu County and Uasin Gishu as well. Our teams there will be giving us updates on various issues. They'll be talking about politics in those particular counties. They'll be talking to us about the ongoing food crisis and the nurses strike as well. So we've got a tab on what's happening in every corner of this nation, and we'll be crossing over there whenever the need arises to get an update. Our team is on standby, and we'll be talking to them in just a bit. Well, let me now introduce my panel in studio. Today I am joined by Danstan Omari, a political analyst and lawyer. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
In addition, we have Onchari Oyeyo, a researcher together with the Center for Africa Progress. Also welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
He's not new to this stage. Benjamin Dolo, senior political analyst, emphasis on senior. Karibu sana.
Good morning, sir.
We also have Karungo Thangwa, also not new to the program. He is a senator candidate or senatorial candidate, Kiambu County. Welcome to the program as well.
Good morning.
Well, we'll be talking with my analyst shortly, but let's head over now to the KICC where Stephen Leto is bringing us the latest. What we know is that stakeholders are gathering there for a 3-day national elections conference, seeking to give Kenyans peace regarding the IEBC and whether they are ready to handle these elections with 56 days and counting to the August 8th polls. Stephen Leto, you are on the ground. What is the latest from the KICC?
Well, good morning to Wahiga Mwaura from the KICC, where we are right now checking on the National Elections Conference organized by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. These coming at a time when it is barely 56 days to the general election, that is the August 8 polls. And what this particular conference intends to do is first try to give exhibitions of in preparations of how the IEBC is prepared, how the voting is supposed to be done, basically educating the voters on their role to vote and why they should turn up to vote in the August 8 polls. This, of course, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission intending to ensure that it closes the gap between it closes the gap of the voter apathy, and saying that, you know, they intend out of the 19.5 million registered voters, they want at least to have a majority of that number turn up to vote in the August 8 polls. Remember, there was a bit low turnout in the August 2013 polls, but this number is what the IEBC intends to boost and have a majority of Kenyans stand up to make a decision on the ballot in the August 8 polls. And so behind me is exhibition tents where Kenyans are supposed to come and verify some of the things, present queries or ask questions to IEBC officials who are placed or who are stationed at these particular exhibition centers. What particularly you're supposed to ask here maybe is, I've seen ballot boxes in one of the exhibition centers whereby you will be told how you are going to vote in the August 8 polls. Basically voter education taking center stage, because we've seen also how you are supposed to go and line up in the vote in the polling station, how you are going to pick your the ballot paper, how you should mark the ballot paper and how you shouldn't mark that ballot paper, and also how you are going to conduct that exercise in secrecy. That is, we've seen polling booths also placed in one of the exhibition centers here at the KICC. And so the 3 days that the conference will be taking place, Kenyans are expected to come and visit the IEBC here at the KICC just to make queries and make themselves understand about some of the issues that will be taking place, or some of the critical issues that a voter should know on the voting day. And so a lot is expected to happen in the next few days here at the KICC. Of course, President Uhuru Kenyatta is also expected to be at this particular conference and give his remarks on how the country is ready for the next polls, that is August 8 polls. And also particularly IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati and his team will also be assuring Kenyans how the electoral agency is prepared in terms of delivering a free, fair and credible general election when it comes on the August 8th day of polling. And so Wahiga, one of the things that we've seen here this morning is preparations are underway, a little low-key activities taking place, but what we see is preparation of the stage as well as setting up of the exhibition centers where Kenyans are expected now to come and present themselves and ask questions to the IEBC officials. And remember, this comes just barely days after the verification of the voter register, where Kenyans were supposed to verify their details in the register was concluded, and that reconciliation ongoing at the IEBC. And also the issue of the KPMG report that came out giving a cleanup of the voter register 56 days to the general election, saying that these are the eligible voters that should participate, and also weeding out what they are calling as ghost voters or dead voters. So those are some of the key issues that will be discussed here. Remember, these particular elections of the August 8 polls is expecting about 19.5 million voters. That is before the cleanup, and that coming at a time when the IEBC is trying to race against time to ensure it beats the deadlines, and that by the voting day all the systems will be set for the voters of the Republic of Kenya. Wahiga.
Well, Stephen Leto, allow me to inquire. You have indicated that His Excellency the President is expected to attend at least one of the sessions in this 3-day conference. But on the NASA side, do we expect any representation on their side? Do we expect the NASA flag bearer, Raila Odinga, to at least attend this conference on one of those 3 days? Bearing in mind, NASA has a few issues with the IEBC, including the selection of a Dubai-based company to provide the balloting material. Is NASA expected?
Well, yes, Wahiga, that is one thing that we'll be keeping an eye and trying to inquire from the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. But remember, this is an election conference whereby it brings together all the elections stakeholders. Key of them are the voters themselves, voters being part of the election stakeholders. The candidates who will be contesting in the August 8 polls are also, stakeholders of the election, and so is the IEBC as well as other election observers. All those are forming the election observers, all expected to attend this conference. And so putting the question on whether the NASA National Super Alliance principals will be attending, it's something that will be interesting to note, but we are yet to make clarifications or inquire whether they will be attending, but they will be expected to be here because their opponents in the Jubilee Party led by President Uhuru Kenyatta will be here to make their presentations on how they intend to go forward forward with the IEBC. And so we expect, of course, you've talked about the issues that the National Super Alliance has with the IEBC. This is a political season, Wahiga, and these are the issues that the political players will always be ready, to play the ball closest to their chest, as well as bring the electoral player very close to them and ensure that they discuss these particular issues and iron them ahead of the August 8 polls. Wahiga.
Well, thank you so much, Stephen Leto, for that update, reporting live from the KICC, where stakeholders are gathering for a 3-day National Elections Conference. He'll be keeping us up to date in regards to that even as we continue. He's talked about His Excellency the President being expected to speak about the way forward in regards to elections at that particular conference, and he's spoken about several aspirants also who are expected there. And Stephen Leto, I see we still have you on the line there. Before I let you go, as my director is reminding me, I also want to know from you, we've seen situations in the past where conferences are held, Stephen Leto, big budget conferences, but at the end of the day, in terms of deliverables, in terms of what that conference achieved, we're not quite able to put our finger on it. What guarantee do Kenyans have that at the end of a big 3-day conference like this one, that changes will occur, that the recommendations made at those conferences will actually be implemented? Okay, well, maybe that's a question I'll be discussing with my panel here in studio. Let's see where we're headed to next. Yes, let's go over now to Uasin Gishu County. It's been a busy spot there with the Jubilee Party carrying out several campaigns. We know that President Uhuru Kenyatta today is expected in, among other places, Cheptiret, Mosoriot, Kabiet, Kabisaga and Nandi Hills as well. We're now joined by our man on the ground there, John Wanyama. Wanyama, maybe you can give us an update on the President's program so far and the busy weekend that it has been for you there, just covering the Jubilee campaigns.
Thank you, Maura. As you just said, the President is really making several tours here in Uasin Gishu County. And one of place he will be also visiting today is KCC, where he's going also to open another new plant where we are expecting him to come in any time from now before he proceeds to Nandi County. President Uhuru's visit in this county and the entire region has been advantageous to several people in this region, and those who have got this advantage as those Jubilee nominees, including Governor Jackson Mandago, who was really waiting to see if they come in Uasin Gishu, are they coming to support those who are in independent parties also, but they were here and they put in black and white that they are only going to support those people who are in the party and nobody else. Maura, as you know, this region where they also tried to ask the independent candidate Buzeki Bundotich to step aside so that he can give his way to Governor Jackson Mandago, but we saw him taking his ground and saying, no, I'm not going to step down, I'll still push on until 8th of August when people will go to the ballot to decide. When he was in Elgeyo Marakwet also, we saw people, maybe the governor there, who was not that much laggy because people booed him when he would try to address his people in Elgeyo Marakwet, Governor Alex Tolgos. He didn't have a smooth ride when he was really receiving the president in his backyard. Maura, on issue of health also here in Uasin Gishu, the nurses who are on the strike in Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital have not been given, maybe they are not allowed to enter the hospital as so far as we speak now. The hospital has put all measures to ensure that those who are striking, they don't enter the hospital, or rather to meet and make their meetings inside the compound and talk to media people inside the hospital. Otherwise, Maura, from this side, people who are really disappointed with the president's visit are those IDPs who have said that they are really disappointed because the president have not addressed the issue. They have gone to other places, they have given them their checks, but here in Uasin Gishu, thousands and thousands of IDPs have not been addressed, they have not been promised anything concerning their payments so far. From my side, Maura, we are still looking into these stories, and the first thing we find them, we will get back to in the studio. Maura.
Well, thank you so much, John Wanyama. Comprehensive update talking about Jubilee's campaigns over the weekend in that region. Also talking about the nurses strike, letting us know that hospitals are not allowing striking nurses to hold meetings within the hospital premises, and that's a story he's keeping tabs on. In addition, he's also talked about IDPs in that particular county who are a bit concerned that the president and the deputy did not address matters of compensation for them, and yet they talked about compensation when they were in Kisii County. So the IDPs in that region asking many crucial questions. Of course, the president and his team still very close to Wasingishu, and we expect that they'll address some of those issues possibly when they return back to Eldoret town. We now cross over to Kisumu County, where we join our reporter on the ground, Laura Achieng. The last time we spoke with Laura, that was last week, she indicated that nurses had were camping at the Jomo Kenyatta Sports Ground, and that's where they were having their meetings even as the nurses strike continued. Laura, we're in the second week. Any update, any hopefully positive news from Kisumu County in regards to the nurses strike?
Thank you very much, Wahiga Mwaura. We are at county number 042, which is the Kisumu County. And of course, the weekend was laced with a lot of activity. Starting with the nurses strike, for example, we had a spot check over the weekend where we went to the Kisumu County Referral Hospital, where the female ward was barricaded with wooden planks, meaning there was no admission whatsoever for any female patients over the weekend. And of course, earlier on, we were at the Jaramogi Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital, where the labor wards were clearly empty, the beds were empty, there was no admission of expectant mothers as well. And of course, if you remember, Governor Nanok, who's the boss for the Council of Governors, had earlier directed county governments to take stern action against striking nurses. And here in Kisumu, the CC of Health, Dr. Lucio Dwang, as by close of business on Friday, had not given any directive to the striking nurses, who continue to insist that until their collective bargaining agreement is signed, then they will not be going back to duty. And of course, the political forms here in Kisumu already taking shape, where earlier on Saturday we had the burial of former Nyando legislator Owor Miruka at his Nyando home, where a scuffle ensued between supporters of ODM senatorial aspirant Fred Outa and supporters of another person who's believed to be an independent candidate in one of the posts in this region. Now, the supporters of the independent candidate were accusing Mr. Fred Outa of interfering with the nominations which were held sometime in mid-April. And of course, later on we will be speaking to residents around here in Kisumu County to tell us their opinions on the six-piece voting which is being advocated by NASA presidential flag bearer Raila Odinga. Back to you, Wahiga.
Well, thank you so much, Laura, for that update. Of course, we'll come back to you later on for more updates. You're looking at various issues, politics of the region, the nurses strike, and also delving a bit into the six-piece voting model that NASA flag bearer Raila Odinga is advocating in that region. Laura Cheng, they're reporting live from Kisumu County. Well, let me carry on now with, or let me kick off the discussion in our studio here with our panel. But before that, let me tell you a bit about one of the big stories that we're following that actually broke yesterday. Now, two of Kalonzo Musyoka's closest Ukambani allies have appeared to shift their political faith to President Uhuru Kenyatta and the Jubilee Party. While Minority Leader Francis Nyenze was unequivocal in his praise of the government, the former Wiper chairman, David Musila, was more guarded in his sentiments. This apparent shift could complicate Kalonzo's quest to ring-fence his political backyard. If you missed Sunday Live yesterday, let's have a listen to those comments once again made during a political rally, and then we'll engage our panel in studio regarding them.
Mheshimiwa Uhuru, Mheshimiwa kila mtu zote mchaguliwe bila kujali huyu ni chama gani, huyu ni chama gani, kwa sababu mwishowe huyu ndiye atakutumikia. Wewe nuru kingine nuru kinata yule hiki amana unalama pite kura vipo na mumbate na ndumana kana sai ai vipo na siasa hii ni amana ai kwa sababu ya watu kumwa evani ya Uhuru Kenyatta kukumite ndio kwa sana nyingi wewe ndio kwa tilingi.
Well, we are hoping to get Senator Musila on phone just to clarify, because what we saw on a Twitter handle that is believed to be his is that he said that he will never support the Jubilee Party. Of course, that Twitter handle not verified, so we hope that we'll be able to pose that question to him as soon as we get him on the phone any minute now. But before that, let me reintroduce my panel in studio. We're joined by Dansan Omari, political analyst and lawyer. We are joined by Onchario Yeyo, a researcher at the Center for African Progress. We're joined by Benji Ndolo, senior political analyst, and we're also joined by Karungo Thangwa, senatorial candidate, Kiambu County. Gentlemen, once again, welcome to the program. And let me start with you, Danstan, and find out from you, what do you think could have motivated Kitui gubernatorial hopeful David Musila and Kitui West Member of Parliament Francis Nyenze to make such statements?
Well, the two have been hurt by body, all through they have been hurt in terms of the political body of the Kamba nation. It seems like Ngilu is coming in and having been given a platform to share with NASA. The message is very clear that Kalonzo is supporting either Malombe or Ngilu. These two seem now to be out of context. In politics, Waiga, you must force yourself to be accepted.
Wakili Omari, let me hold you there for a second because I'm told we have Senator Musila on the line. Senator, if you can hear me, good morning. Good morning. You are live on Citizen TV, Citizen Extra.
Yes.
And we are hoping you'll be able to clarify some of the statements that were made in a political rally that you attended yesterday. Are you or are you not endorsing?
I'm on the road and I've stopped to talk to you.
Oh, thank you so much. We appreciate your sacrifice.
Yes.
We will not keep you for very long. We just want you to clarify some of the statements that you made yesterday together with Honorable Nyenze in a rally. Are you able to give us an exact idea of what you meant with your statement?
I do not want to talk on behalf of
well,
the point is that I went to support the youth program because one of the pillars of my manifesto as candidate for governor for Kitui is youth empowerment.
Well, we apologize for that. We can't seem to be getting the senator loud and clear.
Yes.
Sorry, Senator, we can't seem to hear you very clearly. Maybe we can try and take that again.
Yes, I said that I cannot talk on behalf of Mr. Nyenze and for myself as an independent candidate to the youth.
Well, we apologize. I think we'll have to try and talk to the Senator.
Sorry, do you hear me?
Sorry, we can't hear you. Let's see whether... Okay, we'll call you back again, Senator. Sorry about that. We'll call you back once again. We were talking with Wakili Omari here in studio, and he was telling us why he thinks those statements were made. Omari, you can carry on, please.
Yes, what I'm saying is that there is a misnomer where people are thinking that Musila is also in Wiper. Musila resigned from Wiper. He is an independent candidate for only one position, the position of the governor. He has the freedom under the law to associate with other 5 positions. He will elect an MCA, he will elect a senator, he will elect a president. Therefore, he has put it very clearly that he will support the president for that election, that is the Jubilee presidential candidate.
Are you sure he has put it clearly? He actually posted something different on what we believe to be his Twitter handle. He said, and I quote, "I am not and cannot support Jubilee. You can take this to the bank, ladies and gentlemen." I was hoping we could confirm the validity of that tweet with him, but unfortunately the signal has not been clear. But you still feel that what happened yesterday was a clear endorsement?
Politicians talk every other minute and they forget what they have talked. Musila said that either at night he has been called and they have talked to him. He has become relevant. If a politician loses relevance, then they lose everything. So we are likely to see very many of these talks from the politicians. Musila knows very well that he has nowhere to go. He might be talking like that so that in case Jubilee wins, he takes the J.J. Kamuda approach and he gets a position in Jubilee because he might be the strong candidate for Jubilee in Ukambani. So the politicians, is very hard to assess what they say. Tomorrow he'll say he was misquoted. And I think that is politics. And we are going to see politics for the next 2 months where people say this, jump out, say this, jump out. That's the nature of the Kenyan politics.
Benji Dolo, turncoat politics, is that what we saw yesterday?
More than that. I mean, Wahiga, I am uniquely qualified to discuss this. These are all friends and colleagues that I've known and worked with over several years, really. And the problem, Wahiga, and Kenyans at large, and I must tell them for free, is the kind of politics that we do. A politics that is founded on nothing. A politics, by the way, I dare say, that is a business. That people are doing these things, as Wakili has alluded to. In the background, there's a lot of, money changing hands, different motivations, etc. And so you ask yourself, if you just hark back to just a few months ago, was it Senator Musila who led the delegation of Kamba elected MPs into State House for discussions? That was well covered in the media. I think that there certainly is a problem in Wiper. Some of us have really, in the past, really tried very hard to bring some sanity and some order, but to pretend that nothing is wrong in the house of Wiper, I mean, I might even ask, why even call your party, if you're a serious political party, Wiper in the first place? What does that mean? And so there are so many things that are going wrong.
You're being controversial.
Wahiga, I am calling it like I see it. You cannot, Nyenze is the same guy a few weeks ago that said Kalonzo must come out of NASA and run, correct?
In fact, I think it was no NASA, no Kalonzo.
Exactly. When it caused heat, it caused so much heat, and then who came out to defend Nyenze? Kalonzo himself. Now this morning we hear that Wiper is also fielding in Nairobi, inside NASA, a candidate against Esa Passaris. What are we doing? It's a politics of personal ambition, of business, and unfortunately, profiteering on the backs of peasants, because a lot of the poor in Ukambani, are just wondering what's happening and where to go and what the agenda is. And people like Kalonzo have been there for more 30+ years.
In fact, it's an interesting issue that you raised, which I want to pose to senatorial candidate Kiambu County, Honorable Thangwa, and I want to find out from him, should the electorate know when a politician is speaking the truth or when a politician is in the middle of a political game? How should we decipher the comments that were made yesterday?
Right. Wahiga, I want to tell you that whatever you have in your heart will one day come out. Yeah. Will one day, you will do a confession, a testimony or something. And I can tell what Nyenze, together with Musila, did yesterday. That is what they have believed all along. It's only that they could not go against their parties. Nelson Mandela once said that if you speak to your person in English or a different language, the message goes to the head. But if you speak to them with the vernacular, the message goes to the heart. Nyenze spoke with the vernacular. He was speaking, he was pouring his heart out and talking to the hearts of those people. So what I would want to say is that it is true. The die is cast, and they know and they believe that it's going to be Uhuru Tano Tena. And that's why they are trying to, it's coming out now, telling their people, this is what we want. So for me, I wouldn't say it's political. I say they're being genuine. They're just saying the truth.
That's what you feel. We're also joined by Onchario Yeo, a researcher, and I'd like to know from him, do you feel that was Kalonzo aware of such statements, and how do you think this works out in his game as he seeks to consolidate the Ukambani vote?
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Wahiga. Thank you so much. Now, about Nyanza, I think the deputy presidential candidate for NASA is very much aware, because he was the first one to come out and say, we expect Musyoka to be a presidential candidate based on an MOU which was signed way back in 2013. So for Musila, I think it's all about sour grapes. He was not given a chance in Wiper to be the gubernatorial candidate for Kitui, and I think he's just frustrated.
Let me hold you there, because we have Senator Musila actually on the line, and hopefully he'll be able to answer those questions. Senator, I hope the line is now clear. I hope we can be able to...
It is clear. I think I'm in a better place now. I've stopped.
Wonderful. Maybe you can briefly summarize what you were telling us before we got disconnected.
Yeah, you had asked me about what Nyenze and I said, and I told you that I could not speak for Nyenze, but I can speak for myself. First of all, I want to make it very clear that I am an independent candidate. And in that meeting, I went to the meeting to support the youth. Youth empowerment is one of the pillars of in my manifesto, And therefore, a lot of people saw my going to a youth program that was promoted, rightly so, by the government, by Jubilee, that I had already changed and that I was in Jubilee. Now, in my talk, I made it clear that as an independent candidate, anyone can be elected. And that's where I mentioned about even Uhuru can be elected. In my opinion, I also said that you can elect anybody, and I said Uhuru or Raila. But I think someone is editing this to mean that I thoroughly proposed that Uhuru should be elected.
So can you set the record straight live on Citizen TV? Did you or did you not endorse Uhuru Kenyatta as president come August 8th? Can you set that record clear?
I did not endorse him. I did not endorse him, and I did not endorse anyone. In fact, even before I had said, even MCS, MPs, senators, you know, should be elected on their own merit, and that was my emphasis.
Okay. Do you regret making those comments yesterday? Because from what it looks like, then your statement has been misconstrued. It's been taken out of proportion. Do you wish you said something different yesterday at that rally?
Well, I don't say, quite frankly, I do not see anything that I say that was wrong, but I have made it very clear to my supporters and everyone, all in the sundry, that I am an independent candidate, and I'm not supporting the Jubilee. I'm not supporting anyone as of now.
So who are you supporting for the presidency? Who are you then supporting? If you're, everyone has a supporter, from what we assume.
As of now, the things are not very clear. Of course, usually I would support Jubilee, NASA, because NASA is the party of this area, and I am very supportive. But you are also aware that NASA has said that they want a 6-piece suit, and they do not recognize candidates who are independent. I have, in discussion, I've already sent a word to NASA that I think they are making a mistake, that we are all supportive of NASA, but we would not want them to shut us out. And this is already the issue. For example, in Makueni on Saturday, NASA refused anyone who was not either in Wiper or ODM to speak. And there is an issue here in Ukambani that we would like to embrace NASA, but NASA are not embracing us.
If Jubilee hold a rally in Ukambani, specifically in Kitui, and they invite you, would you attend?
I would, but you see, if I go to such a rally and they go and drum support for my opponent, then it will be not proper for me to do that.
Okay. And finally, of course, just seeking to get more clarification in regards to this issue. We also want to find out from you. One of the analysts here in studio felt that yours was a case of sour grapes, where your statements over the weekend were as a result of the Kitui nomination tussle, where you had hoped that you would have been endorsed as the gubernatorial candidate or aspirant for Wiper without a challenge. What would you answer? What would you say to critics who feel that you are bitter with Kalonzo over the whole Kitui gubernatorial saga?
Well, as far as I am concerned, I did make it very clear to my people that the issue of nomination for Wiper candidate for gubernatorial seat in Kitui should be a forgotten issue. We don't have any issue there. I do not want, and I wish not, to engage my former party leader in any war of words. We have no quarrel at all. We have talked, we have agreed to forge ahead, and I think these are issues that people are talking. Someone who is talking about me being bitter should have been to Kitui to know what happened. I did not lose nomination, and I insist, and there is evidence, but I don't want to dwell on the past. I want to go ahead, and we have no issue with the my former party leader.
Honorable Kalonzo or NASA flag bearer Raila Odinga after yesterday's rally?
Sorry?
Have you spoken with Honorable Kalonzo or NASA flag bearer Raila Odinga after yesterday's rally? Did they call you to inquire about the statements made at that rally?
They did not, and I will still be calling them myself, even if they don't. I will still be calling them to make all those clarifications because I know they are very important.
Okay, I have a panel here in studio. We just want to ask you two quick questions before we let you go. Let me start with Benji Ndolo. Maybe a question for Senator Musila.
Senator, good morning. You and I
Morning, Beji.
Yes, sir. We have known each other for some years. Senator, yes. I don't think you are bitter. I think you are certainly a seasoned politician. My only question to you, sir, as the immediate former chairman of WIPA, do you feel, honestly, that the party is in order, that things are in order? Do you feel that Mheshimiwa Kalonzo's house, that things are in order, if you are to speak honestly on the air, sir? Thank you.
Well, Beji, you know that things are not in order in WIPA.
They're not.
And I regret this because this is a party I founded with others, and
yes.
This is a party I nurtured for nearly 20 years.
Yes.
But as an outsider now, because I have already resigned, I can only wish the party well. But you know as well as I do that these things are not very well in WIPA. You saw what happened in Makueni. You saw what is happening in Machakos. These are things to be regretted. But I'm hopeful that one of these days we will regroup and make a strong party, because it is very important that the community gets a strong party as it has been in the past.
Okay,
Asante, I wish you well. Asante.
We also have a question from Danstan Omari for Senator Musila. Danstan, go ahead.
Senator, good morning.
Good morning, Bwana Omari.
Did you have a chance to see Governor Mandago give his speak the other day?
Where?
And did you see Governor Mandago disown what he said live and that was recorded? Mandago, the governor of Uasin Gishu, did utter the same sentiments that you have uttered yesterday, and it has been played live and clear that you said that you support Jubilee. Do you want to say that the media is the one that is amplifying what you didn't say, or is it the Kenyan politics where you select what you remember and what you don't want to remember for convenience purposes?
Omari, I want to emphasize that I am not supporting Jubilee. If I was supporting Jubilee, I would be attending their rallies. I would be talking about them every now and then. The fact that I went to endorse a program for the youth did not mean I support Jubilee. I do not support Jubilee, I emphasize.
Thank you. Marwan, thank you very much, Governor.
Thank you, Wahinya Maura. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you so much for taking time. I know you're still on the road. We'll allow you to continue with your journey, and hopefully you'll give us more time later on in case we need more clarification.
Thank you so much. God bless.
Same to you. Asante sana. Well, we carry on with the discussion. Gentlemen, new information now. We've spoken to the Senator himself. Your initial thoughts, and I want to hear from senatorial candidate Sangwa. You've had that whole phone conversation. What's your take from it?
I just said it. What is in the heart will definitely come out. Yeah. Even when he was trying to explain to you, he's still saying that I'm supporting Jubilee. Because that is what he
I think it was a slip of the tongue.
No, I don't believe so. Because he didn't even say which presidential candidate he's supporting. So it is just a matter of time, and he will come out clean, and he will say, I was never misquoted. It is true, Jubilee is working. And he actually said that in his manifesto, youth empowerment is one of the pillars, or one of the things that he's going to do. And Uhuru is doing exactly that. So you can tell that he believes what Uhuru is doing is right. And it's only that because he doesn't want to look like he's going against the grain. That's why probably he is not really ready to declare his stand. But I can tell you, he didn't say either. So he's yet to give a declaration, which I believe is going to be Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta.
So you believe that we might see similar moves to what he did yesterday, or what he said, moving forward?
Yes.
We also have researcher Oyeyo here in studio. You've had that phone conversation. Your initial thoughts?
Well, I think Musel is very honest. I think he was misquoted. Most likely, it's very clear. He said it. He's not supporting Jubilee. And again, I'll go back to what I said. I think he feels like he was mistreated in his party, WIPA. And I think I'm wondering why Benji was so polite to him when he was questioning him about the orderliness of the party. He should have asked him why they named the party WIPA, because they had an issue with that at first. Now, yes, he was mistreated in the party, so it doesn't feel like he should be part of NASA. Now, Jens has been very, very vocal about Musyoka being a presidential candidate in this election cycle because of the 2013 MOU. That is why he's very, very bold in saying it's Uhuru or not who, Raila. So I think going forward, I don't think it's going to mean so much in terms of votes. Ukambani votes will go most likely to around 90% to NASA. So they'll make a lot of noise. Musyoka will definitely be defeated. Musyoka will be defeated. And
wow, I hope you can put money where that statement is.
Wiper is very strong in Ukambani, and I expect that kind of wave to sweep him away.
Okay, those are your thoughts, of course, not the thoughts of Citizen Extra. Well, gentlemen, I want to...
Wahiga, you must allow me.
Okay, briefly.
You must allow me.
Go ahead.
Just for the purpose of the benefit of our viewers, what Musila did there, and just to respond to my colleague, it is fruitless at this point. Musila has even left Wiper to ask him why they named it Wiper. It was the late Mutula who named it, so etc. So that would be futile. It would be a waste of airtime. But just allow me to explain that what you saw the senator explain there is the same mistake you saw with Ababu, where in trying to speak on something while he was in ODM, he said that Sisi tuko Jubilee. Then he realized his mistake. It's called a Freudian slip. F-R-E-U-D-I-A-N. In other words, in fact, it came so naturally that he just caught himself and said, oh my God, what have I just said? And so, just for the benefit of our viewers, the Freudian slip in many ways can kind of demonstrate. And again, if you look at the clip from Citizen that I saw last night and this morning, he did explain slowly, the senator, that, you know, this is, we want orderly politics. At the presidential level, vote for Uhuru, and then going down, vote for whoever you want. That's the clip, not me. And so I think that there's now an opportunity here, Wahiga, for us to ask ourselves, all right? Because from everything you want to learn the lesson and take the lessons forward. And that's why I'm issuing the challenge to him. Do you think that Kalonzo's house is in order? Do you think Wiper is in order? So that now we can look at the why, all right, and then see the way forward. And I think that Kalonzo doesn't really know how to keep friends, and that is what the history and the record will show, and that is hurtful in politics. You must build a meaningful ideology to move forward. Once that is lacking, then you have a free-for-all and a backyard on fire.
What is the bigger picture in all this in regards to NASA and its quest for votes for the presidency? Would this revolt affect their votes in Ukambani?
Yeah, it could. It could, and it could do even more than that, because, you know, remember, Wahiga, and I want to be very careful how I explain this in analysis. Remember, we've got doubts on, you know, the cleanliness of register, etc. So, just for example, speaking from a strategy standpoint, if you create the perception that there's a revolt, all right,
whether true or not,
and then someone crafty enough is able to perhaps, you know, top up, you know, some votes from here and there, then you can see, if you're smart enough, you can see what I'm trying to say.
I can see what you're alluding to. I will not carry on that conversation. Let's bring Omari into this conversation. Let's talk about this proposed, this quote-unquote revolt. Would you say that for Musila and Nyenze, would you call their bark worse than their bite? Do they have real impact in the kind of statements they're making? And how worried should Kalonzo be?
This election, Waiga, is going to be determined by independents. I have a friend of mine here who is an independent senatorial candidate.
With many votes.
With very many votes. And you see the desperation he wants to associate himself with Uhuru Kenyatta. I've seen people in Luo Nyanza who are desperately, who are chased from ODM, and they're still trying to associate themselves with Raila Odinga. And that's what you saw, Nyenze, that's what you saw. Everybody wants to associate with the mother. These people, for the purpose of the law, the independent candidates. This constitutes an election offense where somebody wants to talk about the presidential candidate of another party when he himself is supposed to be independent. When you look at the very many independent candidates in Mount Kenya region, they might not come out very clearly to say they are against Uhuru Kenyatta. In reality, in body language, this is the party that locked them out. Are they going to vote for a party that made them orphans? That is a question that is going to be asked. We have seen what has happened in Uasin-Gishu, where Mandago put it very clearly, read a riot act to the president and the deputy. You either chase these independent candidates or we think otherwise. The otherwise is the NASA candidate. So in my own view, I think that these animals called independent candidates, they have not learned the legal parameters and the legal framework on which they should look for their votes. We expect when somebody is called an independent candidate to be independent, not to appear to be independent. And in my own view, Waiga, I think that very many of these people are jilted lovers. They are annoyed, but they know. You've heard Musila say very clearly, he is not supporting Jubilee. But if NASA comes to campaign for his opponents, he'll think otherwise. Do politicians have memory? Their computers only register the memory that they open their mouth at that time. It's in the afternoon, these guys will be telling us different stories.
It's good we have an independent candidate in studio just to clarify on the issue of whether an independent can be truly independent without having to endorse someone for the presidency. Honorable Thangwa, maybe we can bring you in now in regards to this. Omari has posed a challenge to you that it seems being an independent in Kenya is but a word and that we don't actually have real independence. What would you say about that?
Thank you very much, Wahiga. First of all, I would like to say that thank you very much for putting me so close to senior analyst, senior counsel. I'm now a senior independent candidate. Vote-wise. But what I would want to say is that this country will have a president, whether I'm independent or not. So what I would want to say is the Constitution gives me that right to have my opinion, to have my expression, and to have my rights of saying what I believe is right. So whether I'm independent or not, I will have to have a president. I cannot be a senator without a president. And there is that president that I'm going to vote for. What I might not do is, according to the law, because the law is very clear when it comes to independent, is probably wearing the colors of the party, the symbols of the party. But I can well say that I support President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Yes, because I want a president who will also take care of this country. So I don't think it is very illegal. The only illegal thing is to put your symbols on your posters, probably the pictures. But when it comes to say your opinion, where you stand and whom you are supporting, I don't think there is anything wrong with that. Yeah.
Thank you. Leave it at that. Fact check. We need to take a break, so just 1 minute fact check. Benji?
There are only, if you read the Constitution, Article 87, 83, etc., and I wish you had a copy here, there are only truly 3 independent candidates in Kenya. And this is important for us to contextualize where we are going and the kind of politics we are doing. They are the Honorable Gatobu, member of Meru, the Honorable Patrick Musimba, member of Parliament Kibwezi, and Miguna gubernatorial aspirant. Those are the only 3 independents.
Because they have not quote-unquote endorsed anyone for the president.
Because they have not belonged to any party, they have not aligned, they have been truly independent, they have run elections and won as independents and consistently won as independents. The rest are guys who are mistreated, lost, kicked out 2 weeks ago, and now they are quote-unquote independent. In fact, it's something they have formed called KITE, Kenya Association of Independent. Let
me get Oyeyo to just comment on that briefly before we take the break.
I think I agree with Benji regarding the issue of independent candidates.
Thank you.
And it's Miguna, like he said, and the 2 other guys who I don't know very well. When you're an independent candidate, you're not supposed to come out and support a candidate, either whether for president or for governor, who belongs to a particular political party. Because once you choose to be independent, it means you don't subscribe to the manifestos of any political party. So you cannot come and tell us, supporting Raila or for the presidency, and yet you're independent. That, it dismisses the whole idea of being independent in the first place. So I think we need to respect the idea of independency when you want to become a truly independent candidate. That's when we can begin now shaping our politics in a particular direction, which can be, even researched with order.
Thank you. Mr. Omari, I'll have to ask you to just hold that comment for now because we need to take a short break. You're in the second hour now of Citizen Extra. We'll be back shortly. We'll be talking more about politics, looking at the UNGA crisis, the NASA strike, and so much more. You are watching Citizen TV.